Good morning everyone. In this video I'm going to analyze the live price action for EU and DXY to see what day trading opportunities there may be. You're going to see my strategy and my analysis, so if you're interested in those then please stick around. Right, we start off here on the daily as we always do. We have EU on the top, DXY on the bottom. So what can we see on the daily so far? Well, after our two bearish days to end the week on the previous week, Thursday, Friday, we had a bullish day yesterday on Monday, which shows to us that we came to a level where we took either some sell side liquidity, or more obviously on DXY, you can see we came above these highs. So we have swept and taken some buy side liquidity. So therefore yesterday on DXY, as we can see, closed with a bearish day. So that buy side liquidity has sponsored some sort of pullback. So after a big bullish run like this, we expect to pull back. So it's expected. We'll see more on the lower time frame. Obviously we have our divergence here as well, which was an early signal that we could pull back from this area. As you can see, we have a daily fair value gap here that we've almost filled this morning. We also have the same fair value gap here on DXY, but I haven't drawn that line in yet. Otherwise, we have our previous daily highs and lows. As you can see, we've already gone through our previous daily high and taken that buy side liquidity and headed towards more of a premium. So let's go down to the 4-hour time frame, and that should show us everything in more detail. So I'm going to start us off zoomed out for a second, just to go back to the fact we are in a 4-hour order block POY at this area, which successfully held price. We also had our SMC divergence where we had the higher low and the higher high on DXY, which was that signal that we were going to pull back to some sort of premium or POY from these lows. Price has done that. You can see we've been bullish ever since. Nothing explosive, nothing like this price action here, obviously, so we could call it still a corrective pullback. So now we can see a lot closer if I zoom in. This bearish leg here that created this new lower low after this low, we left loads of imbalance here. So this is a 4-hour order block and imbalance, and it's also where our daily fair value gap is. Now we have these POYs above, which is in more of a premium. So just to point that out, so price may well continue higher. We have the same imbalances and POYs on DXY as well. So there is always more reason for price to continue going lower. In our immediate price action, we have the daily fair value gap 4-hour POY as well, which is a draw on price. So price is being drawn and attracted towards these buy side liquidity POYs. It does look like to me that this would be a good target for price to go to, where we can then assess price action to see which direction it's going to go. On DXY, we also have that 4-hour fair value gap, which pretty much lines up with this imbalance here. So we have confluences on both DXY and EU to attract price towards them, and they'll both be areas of support and resistance that could provide us with some shorting opportunities. So let's go down to the 1 hour. So here we are on the 1 hour, and as you can see there's just more stacked confluences. This is a 1 hour and 4-hour order block area. We have the daily fair value gap here as well. So for me, this is a massive draw on price, and it's also an area with massively stacked confluences, because if I'm going to look to continue short, this is a good area to do it from, because the confluences are stacked on the higher time frames, daily, 4-hour and 1 hour POYs in this area. So if price is going to continue lower, this would be a good place to do it from. So I'll be looking for trades in this area for sure, but we'll get to that when they go down to the lower time frames. So price has been correctively pulled back, attracted to this buy side liquidity imbalance here, and inversely on DXY we have our 4-hour fair value gap and our 1 hour imbalance and POY order block at this area too. So we're matching on EU and DXY. We have the same confluences. I believe it's also where the daily fair value gap is as well. We would have major support here and major resistance here. So it would definitely be a good area to continue to look for shorts going with this new trend and this leg. The negatives obviously are going to be, we have all this imbalance above that is not yet mitigated, and we have the same imbalance below on DXY, which is also not yet mitigated. But we have the confluences on our side, and we'll be looking for lower time frame confluence as well if we are to trade from this area. Everything looks good here to me. We are pulling back to the equilibrium of that leg and a premium of the 1 hour leg. We're pulling back from this area here, which was more predictable as well due to those confluences there. We've mitigated this 1 hour POI, which I mentioned yesterday in my video, and we have continued that pullback order flow up until this point at least, right? So we'll reassess once it gets there. So let's go down to the M15 and see what day trading opportunities there may be. So onto the M15 now. Yesterday I wasn't able to get in any trade. As I mentioned, I wanted to go long possibly from this area, but price didn't create a structure. It kind of just rejected the 1 hour order block and just continued going bullish for the rest of the day. So that was unfortunate. Didn't want to short from this area, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, and it tells you why, because of this 1 hour order block and the discount we were in. So that was good. We avoided a loss as well, rather than presuming after sweeping this buy side liquidity that we was going to continue going short with the trend. Right, it just wasn't a good area to short from after we mitigated this POI here. So for today, I think it's clear. I think I'm going with a short bias from this area. I don't see any reason to go long where we are now. We haven't swept like Asia lows. Maybe if we took out this low here, if price had come and taken out this low and we had a structure and a break, we could have maybe gone long into this area, but we haven't done that. I wouldn't want to just start going long in the middle of nowhere, so I'm not going to look at any longs because it's too late for that, in my opinion. We've got too much resistance up here to go long, and I wouldn't want to just go long from the middle of nowhere into that area. For high probability shorts, this is what I'll be looking at. Price to come up into this area here. Now this is high time frame POIs, as we can see. I wouldn't just set my order here because we don't know if this area is going to hold, because obviously all the imbalance above that I mentioned, we're going to want price to create structure, possibly sweep that structural high and then give us that momentum break of the low here, which is a break of structure, and then we're going to want it to pull back to an order block, POI, fair value gap, whatever that's left behind, to then target this sell side liquidity from this area below here. London lows, Asia lows are all the sell side liquidity built up from the previous day. So you don't have to target all the way down to the previous daily low, but that would be the ultimate target probably for price to reach down into. So what that would look like is that we leave an order block behind up here, maybe an M15 or M5 order block. So we have that order block up here, which swept liquidity preferably to the left, right? So we'd have that liquidity swept internally from the previous high. We would then break our structure to the low here. So that would be where our break of structure occurs, and then we'd have this corrective pullback back to our POI, where our order would be set now with our stop loss above that high, and we would target wherever we need to target. Our minimum target, which may be this recent low just for 3% or over, which would be the easy target, London lows, Asia lows, or if you really wanted to go for it, previous daily lows, but you'd probably be holding that for quite some time into the next day. But either way, that's how the trade would look. That's what I will personally be looking for today. It's the only opportunities that we may see. Of course, this could happen higher up. Price could actually come and sweep these highs here, do the same thing, create structure, break that structure, and pull back, and then go for it. Right, so this is also viable, of course. Okay, we may have this here. Placed above the highs. And of course, this would be the liquidity sweep on this side here. So those are the scenarios that I'd be looking for, because I'm only seeing shorts at this point, like I mentioned. And we're waiting for this structure break, of course, because that confirms the area to us, right? That confirms that this POI is going to hold, or this buy side liquidity has caused that break of structure, and we can continue to use that buy side liquidity as a sponsor to go lower. So we have some news later on today for durable orders. We don't know how much that's going to affect the price, but I wouldn't want to enter around red folder news anyway, just to be aware. But yeah, this is what I'm looking for. I wouldn't be looking for longs at any point here. I'd want to continue with this short trend at an area like here, which is a highly stacked area of confluences. So I hope you gained value from that. I hope everything was clear. If not, feel free to ask me some questions in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.